Hi, and welcome back to Ambition to Achieve. My name's Rob, and today I'm joined by Debbie from River and Sea Sense. And Debbie's going to take us on a deep dive journey through her 20-year entrepreneurial journey. Hi, Debbie, how are you?
Morning, I'm really good, thank you.
Thanks for coming along. It's nice to see you.
Thank you.
So would you like to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your business?
Yeah, I will. My name is Debbie Turnbull. My company is River and Sea Sense. And the reason I have that is my son Chris went to Capel Curig almost 20 years ago, next month. And he went with 5 friends. The weather was brilliantly hot, just like it is at the moment. And he'd been going there since May, to the river there since May. And he was perfectly safe. He'd had a wonderful time. And I wasn't concerned in the slightest. That weekend, it had been a heavy rainfall that had come from up in the mountains from 3 areas. And it landed into the river, but it created a massive whirlpool. And Chris, being Chris, still went back and sat on the ledge he'd been sitting on for 3.5, 4 months, and putting his thumbs up to his mates. And it was at the time when mobile phones we were just recording and taking pictures, believe it or not. So it was a big new thing. And Chris put his thumbs up and he was looking up, and he slipped and twisted because the rocks were really wet, and he fell into the waterfall. And basically when he landed in the waterfall, it was so cold. It was between 3 and 4 degrees, which is the temperature of your fridge at home. And in landing in the waterfall, basically he then took a big deep breath, which caused him to lose his life through cold water shock, which means that the deep breath, it's a massive shock to the system. You inhale the water, and obviously I knew he fought for his life, but the waterfall was so powerful, the water was so deep, and then he was forced back into a cave behind the waterfall. And there was a big tree there, and the roots of the tree grew into the cave, and he got his trainer stuck in there. So there was absolutely no way he would have lived. One of his friends went in to try and get him, but he had to turn back and leave him.
Thank you for being honest there, Debbie. It's an incredibly honest story, that. And is that then the reason why you set this up, to educate young people on, river and sea sense and what to do in those type of situations? Or is it to stay out of the water, the advice that you give?
No, absolutely not. Chris loved the water. When he was 3, we took him to Tenerife. We had a timeshare there, and he had armbands on, and he loved the water from being a baby. He swam from being a baby. He was in the water all the time. And one of the armbands deflated. So he was trying to swim on one side. We were with him, but we let him do it because he was laughing and he loved it. And basically, by the time we came home, he was actually swimming. So for him to lose his life when he was such an incredible swimmer, and he played rugby, he was so powerful and strong and built really well, was the last thing that I would imagine to happen to him. And my strapline is, for the company, is learning to swim isn't enough, because it really isn't. It's the education around open water that people need to understand and respect the water, so that they are equipped to be safe in any situation. And I think it's that, especially, as you know, Rob, since May, we've had approximately, I think, 35 fatalities across the UK, which is the majority of those could have been easily avoided by better education.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's a shocking figure, really, isn't it? And
yeah.
So your business then, just so that we can understand that a little bit better, obviously it's born out of pain and losing your son, but is there predominantly to educate young people, or do you work with older people as well?
I do. I actually, I started going back to his school because 20 years ago, the mental health situation wasn't that prominent, it was kept kind of quiet. His mates were in absolute turmoil, and so I went in there to bring the school together. I mean, there were 350 people at the funeral. He was adored. So I went in there really to get the school to give them something to do, because the kids were distraught. And so we raised money for the mountain rescue and the RNLI. That's where it all began. And then it got kind of crazy because we raised more money and more money. And then I got a press conference, and because that is my background, and it all began. I got an office, and now today I've won 17 awards. The awards range from the Great British Entrepreneur Award that we spoke about. I got that last year. I met Simon Squibb, which was amazing. I got the Points of Light Award from the Prime Minister 4 years ago. That was incredible. And I actually met Bear Grylls and so many other celebrities in the Lottery Special Achievement Award, and many, many more as well. I'm really proud of. But awards now and those accolades really are just me using that type of thing to get my safety messages out there, really. So today I have now educated over 950,000 children. So the whole,
isn't it?
I hope so. The whole kind of thing is I wanted to touch 1 million hearts, and I reckon I'm kind of there, really.
Yeah.
Kind of there, yeah. It's so what we do, we go into schools and youth groups, either in person or now online, which is incredible. And I'm becoming kind of more keen to do this online because I can reach many more people in a short time, and it's not as exhausting both mentally and physically in taking time. I'm 20 years older than I was when I started, and I'm an old age pensioner now. So unfortunately, my body's telling me things that I don't want to hear. So online seems to be a great way to go, and to be able to do that, I've put a program together whereby we do an online session in a school, and I can go into between 5, 6, 7 classrooms, do a short assembly, or do a class, do 5 of those. So I can educate about 3,000 young people and all their teachers in a week. Plus, I'm now adding on to that, whereby the school will send out an email to all the parents as well. And so it's double whammy, isn't it?
Yeah.
So we're looking at touching maybe 5, not everybody's going to open the email, but we're looking at touching in one session maybe 5,000 people. Wow. In one hit. Yeah. And I'm only kind of asking between £95 and £165 for that as a sponsor. So, we need lots of these sponsorships, and let's face it, I mean, that amount of money a big organisation will spend a lot more than that on PR, and look what you can do with it.
Yeah, definitely. And that's a huge impact, isn't it? And you were talking there before we came online and recorded, you were talking about, 20-year anniversary within the business. So what did your career look like before the business then? What line of work were you in?
I worked in sales mainly. I was a hygiene rep. I did a lot of sales rep work on the road. So I sold an eating guide, I've sold products, I've sold health products. And I loved it, absolutely loved it. And then about 6 years before we lost Chris, I joined a beauty company. And I then had a team of people that I used to look after, and that was incredible. Absolutely brilliant. And then I've worked in a lot of beauty organisations like that since. And then we lost Chris, and everything changed. And I mean everything.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah. I suppose, going through that kind of pain is maybe where you found your passion to be able to educate people and educate young people, would you say?
It definitely. I was a teacher and a trainer anyway, not a school teacher. I taught people and in that way. So I've always really loved doing that and bringing people together, which I still do. But the impact on my mental health actually brought me to the point where I did attempt suicide twice, 18 months later. And I've no problem with telling people that, because I'm proud to be like here talking to you right now after all of that stuff. And I've even now set up a new project which is called Rising Stronger. It's under the banner of River and Sea Sense, but it's working predominantly with women, but also working with grief. And I support many, many families who've lost a child as well. So I'm actually expanding on that now. I've done mountains of training. I'm just about to qualify as a somatic trauma-informed practitioner, amongst many, many other little tools in my box.
Okay, it's interesting, isn't it, how we'll talk in a little while about the early days of building the business and the challenges. I think some of them you've touched upon, but it's interesting how, the years of doing this business has informed different directions within, but it all sits within that cluster, doesn't it, really, when you talk about grief and family support and river and sea education, it all kind of intertwines, doesn't it? So what would you say in the early days of the business, what were those days like, and what were the kind of biggest challenges in the first, let's say, 5 years for you as a business person?
Ouch. I had no intention of setting up a business in the third sector. None. I knew nothing about the third sector, mental health, and I was kind of, I can't say I didn't know anything about mental health education, because I'm an avid reader. So I've read a lot of personal development books by all the greats, as you can imagine, but I'm really spiritual as well. So I work in those realms too. I think what happened was my work got a lot of recognition, and I then went in the press quite a lot when another fatality happened, which happens a lot now. I get asked to be in the press or on TV. And I think it was that someone said to me, why don't you set up a non-profit? And then I got in touch with a company called Unlimited. I got 5k from them. Well, I thought I was the richest person in the flipping world. And by the time I'd set it all up, there was nothing left. But I then put a big event on in Llandudno. The RNLI asked me to take over a big event, and I've done many more since. I did a big one last year in Llanberis, and that got, I think it was, ridiculous viewings from the media. It was incredible for Drowning Prevention Day. And yeah, it just grew and grew, and the more people I spoke to, and then the worse it became, and the more I learned. I started going out with the search dog teams, and I ended up in the middle of the Mersey on a lifeboat, and and I had a lot of fun as well, and met a lot of incredible people. And I supported a lot of people that had lost their young people to drowning initially, but then it became bigger. And I think at one point I was actually looking after 32 families, and this was at not 9 to 5. This is like midnight, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. And I ended up actually saving 3 people from taking their own lives as well along the way, which I'm really proud to have been able to do.
Yeah, it's an incredible impact, that, isn't it? So are you a community interest company or a charitable structure?
No, I'm a charitable non-profit social enterprise, I guess you would say. So all the dots, I's and T's crossed. But yeah, I love it. I do love it. But at the moment, it's been recently very, very distressing and heartbreaking.
I can
really
imagine.
has. Yeah.
So looking back then, I noticed there that when you were talking about awards, I know we spoke about them before we came on to record. What would you say has been your biggest achievement that you're most proud of over the years? What's the biggest?
I think the MBE. It's got to be the MBE, hasn't it?
That would be it, yeah.
Yeah, it's got to be. And I got the letter because you receive a letter about 8 months before anything goes on. And we've been and had some really bad news that day, John and I, really bad. And I came home and this letter was there, and it said House of Commons, and I got a lot of those because I did a lot of work with the government. I spoke in Parliament 4 times and supported people with petitions, so it was nothing new to get letters. And I opened it and I read it, and when you scan a letter because you just walk through the door, and I was thinking, and we want you to be at Buckingham Palace, and then it said MBE. Well, I dropped to the floor. My legs went, and I just screamed and said, "Jana, got it." It was great, and I cried buckets because it was that, even with all the other awards, and even meeting all the celebrities I've met, which are lots, but that was just like, we see you, Debbie. You really are seen, because all through I've suffered terribly from like imposter syndrome. Even now, it's something that I guess it keeps me humble and it keeps me working with grace. But going back to that, the big day comes, when you buy your suit and all your stuff, and costs a flipping fortune. And it was a 2-hour wait before we went through to the actual ceremony, and you see it all on big screens, so there's dame hugs and it's brilliant, but you can't have a drink because of COVID. So I said, look, I can't even speak, so they had to bring me a paper cup that they found in the cupboard with some water in it, and so I drank that. And then you are filmed. I didn't know this. From the minute you enter, there's 4 rooms that you walk through, like a gold room, a silver room, a blue room, and another one. And you go in a big long light procession. So there's people in the line who are going to be dames and knights and MBEs, no BEs, and the conversations were incredible. Yeah. Anyway, I got to the point where, and they teach you, they give you the spiel of what happens and what you do and what's going to happen when. So you can either curtsy or you can do a neck bow. And I thought, well, I can't curtsy because of my arthritis and all that sort of stuff. Anyway, I completely forgot what they'd said. It all went out my flipping head. And there was a guy standing there and I just said, I've forgotten everything. And this was like 2 minutes and he went, this. I thought, all right. Well, my legs were like jelly. So I got up to her and honestly, I couldn't believe it. I tried to curtsy, wobbled, and then did a quick neck bow like that. And I looked up at her and she had the biggest smile on her face because obviously, and it was filmed all the way. So, you know, it was seeing everything. But she was incredible. She knew so much about me and she said she'd been speaking to the RNLI and it was just like, it was unreal. It was beautiful. And, yeah, I'm really, really grateful and proud. And my friends say, it's got to be Dame Debbie next. And I'm thinking, that really doesn't sound right to me. But yeah, it
nice
was
ring
really
to it, isn't it, Debbie? Dame Debbie. It's a lovely ring to it.
I think it's funny. But no, I'm more than content with that honour. I really am.
Was it the late Queen that you met?
No, it was Princess Anne.
Ah, right, yeah. Okay.
Oh, yeah. She was adorable. Really lovely.
Yeah. Nice, isn't it? It's how can I top that really with the next question? It's an incredible achievement for you to have been awarded the MBE. And I suppose this next question does kind of touch on that. Are there moments really that now 20 years on that remind you why you do what you do? I suppose, having spoken there quite honestly about your journey and the story and the MBE and the awards, would you say that it's those moments that keep you going and remind you that you do what you do?
Yeah. And I do say I'm immensely proud because when you've come from being dragged along a hospital floor, when you're dead from the waist down, there's only one way to go. I mean, honestly, they injected adrenaline into my body and it was like spiders crawling all over me. I was dying the second time. And so to have come from that and to have come home with broken toenails because they literally were dragging me. So they were trying to make me walk and I couldn't. And if I hadn't have walked, I'd have been paralysed, basically. So from that point to this, the biggest thing I can really say to anybody is, if you think you've got it tough, then just after this story, you can achieve anything you want. Anyone can achieve anything with some self-belief and determination. But always do it with grace and never, I know of people it's really gone to the head and all the fame and all that stuff. Well, I'm at the stage now where I've never been like that, even though I'm proud. And yeah, I've told my story and yeah, I have, because I've been from A to B like that. But I like to do it with grace because anything I say or do is in my son's name. So you got to keep it real and raw.
It's wonderful, isn't it? I mean, that brings us nicely on to the next section and the last section of the interview. The time flies by, where we talk about ambition, because that's what it's all about, really, these interviews. So what does ambition mean to you, Debbie?
Oh, my. At this stage now, I would like to have my own building and run. I am going to start running retreats to do with mental health and for women on a mental and spiritual basis. But I'd like a building where people can come and be outside, with outside land, and that will be my greatest achievement, really, to bring people to this place, whether it's a build, I don't know what it is, but it's something where people will come to and go away having worked through whatever their challenges are, but also have found the way home. And I am setting up something completely different at the moment, and it's only just being born, and it's called the Lighthouse Effect. And it ties everything in spiritually as well, because the lighthouse is in the sea, it sheds a beam of light, and it attracts people to it, and that's what I'm looking to set up on a mental and spiritual basis. So I just want the building or the piece of land, or it's a dream. And I mean, look where I started, so you never know. I mean, Louise Hay, who wrote all those books, started when she was 60. I'm 68 this year. Who knows? Yeah. So if anybody's got a piece of land or a building, then give me a shout.
Yeah, I mean, the position that you're in with the social enterprise, it makes it slightly easier if you wanted to look at like asset transfer as well, doesn't it? It's opens up options to you if there was any local authority buildings out there that you could take on that suits the needs of that space. Yeah, it's wonderful, isn't it? I'm enjoying our conversation this morning. And last few questions now, Debbie. What advice would you give to someone who wants to make a positive difference but doesn't really know where to start?
If it's in the third sector, utilise all the free information out there. Go to your local voluntary services councils, as they're in every county. Speak to people who you value, and make sure you are around the right people. And it can take you years to find your tribe, as they say, but it's imperative that you are amongst the people who make you feel good, because you can spend an awful lot of time feeling, oh, I can't do it. Oh, I don't think I'll achieve that. That's time wasted, and it's really, really precious. And even doing what I've done, I've wasted so much time being insecure and unsure and afraid. And all they are thoughts. It doesn't mean they're true. They're really, really not. Our brains protect us as people. So I now stand aside of what's going on in my brain, because it's telling me things that aren't true.
Yeah.
And that's the best advice I can give. And forge forward, but always remember to be humble and, respect other people who respect you.
Wonderful piece of advice. I can't follow that up. So in terms of your legacy as a whole now then, looking back over everything that you've achieved over the last 20 years and longer, what do you hope that your legacy will be? What do you hope to leave in this area of work?
I feel that if I was to leave now, I mean, if there will be a time when I won't be doing this work, it's going to be a while, but there will come a time when I won't be doing this work. But I feel that I know that I have helped so many other people and given them the enthusiasm to be able to do things in water safety, which I'm really proud of. So I feel that, and in a nice way, that some of what people have said, oh, you've done amazing things, it's given them hope. And that's a ripple effect, isn't it? So it's the ripple effect that's going out there. And I've got a really special event to go to next week and another one in October. And I've got the great honour next week of I'm part of the All Wales Drowning Prevention Strategy, and I was part of the UK drowning prevention strategy when it was set up 10 years ago. Played a big part in that. And now I'm obviously, because I'm in Wales, I'm part of this, and we launch our new strategy next week in Cardiff. So I'm going to be one of the keynote speakers, along with another lady who lost her son within 3 months of me losing mine. So it's going to be a big event with some really special people. And the day before World Drowning Prevention Day, last year I put a big event on in Cardiff, which was great, but it's a good marker for 20 years, basically.
Yeah, it's wonderful, isn't it? And lastly then, obviously people who have stuck around this long and listened to the whole conversation, where can they find out more about your business and your story? Where can they find you?
riverandseasense.com, and on Facebook, Debbie Turnbull. On LinkedIn, Deborah Ann Turnbull MBE, because you got to be giving it all in there. And where are we? I am on Instagram as well, which is River and Sea Sense Official. We just set that up. And then I think it'll be the same on TikTok. I've just got a lovely man I met through Simon Squibb, who I'm talking to today. He's based in Dubai, and he's putting a massive big campaign together for me at the minute. So I'm looking to really get out there this time.
Amazing. Thank you, Debbie. And thank you for coming along today. I want to, put my heartfelt thanks to you for being so open and honest. And it's been amazing to sit down with you, and albeit virtual, and have this conversation. So thank you for watching. And I hope that you've found some power from this story. And please do consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't done so already, and give the video a like. And I will include Debbie's website address and social media links in the description. But thanks for watching, and I'll see you all again next week.
Everyone, and thank you.